Good morning, fifth graders. Today we are going to be continuing with what we did yesterday. You should be on page 99 of your student journal. And again, we're just going to continue what we were doing yesterday. So our goal is today I will graph shapes using coordinate points. Okay, and remember yesterday we talked about our newer vocabulary, which were these two words. So a vertex is the exact location on a plane where two sides of a plane shape just meant closed and flat, meet and form an angle. And that's the singular form, and the plural form is called vertices. So again, we said the triangle had 3. A square would have 4. An octagon, if I could draw one, would have 8. So it's just where the two sides meet and form an angle. Okay, so what does this look like? I'm going to have you put down your pencil and I'll grab my red pen. So here's my first shape. My first shape says graph and label the ordered pairs on the coordinate plane, connect the points, identify the geometric shape, and give its number of vertices. So the same as what we were doing yesterday. So lots of directions, but the first thing I'm just going to do is the first thing, which is graph and label. So again, my scale is 0, and they labeled my x and y axes for me. So remember, we always write our x and our y. My first x is 5, and my first y is 0. Ooh, that tends to throw people off when you get the zeros involved because they're not quite sure how to do this. So when my y is 0 and I have an x, that means it's actually going to be on the x-axis. We haven't seen one of those yet. So that's where it would go, right there on the x-axis. Okay, I'm going to change colors today like we did yesterday because we have so many different ones. So B, I have an x of 9 and a y of 4. So x and y. So my x is 9 and my y is 4, which means they would meet right there. Okay, my C is x5 and y8, so a 5 again, and an 8, which would meet right there. And my last one is an x1 and a y4. So an x1 and a y4 would be right there. Okay, so if we connect these shapes, let's see what we have, or these coordinate points. Okay, so one thing that I noticed right away is I noticed that it looks like it's created right angles, 90-degree angles. And it also looks like to me that the sides are all congruent. I really could count and say 1, 2, 3, 4. It went across 4 diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4 diagonal. So these sides are all also congruent, which means my shape is a square, even though they try to trick me and put it diagonal for me. And I have 4 vertices. Okay, let's look at my next one. My next one is the same directions, okay, except this time I have to draw the coordinate plane first. So I want to always make sure that I don't need to scale mine something different than 1. So if I look at my x's, I see 1, 8, 8, and 1. So my x's are very small where I could just count by 1. So remember, this is always 0. That's what most people make the mistake. This first one's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and that's my x. And then let's check my y's to see if I need a different scale. My y's are 1, 1, 5, and 5, so I can just go by 1s again. So make sure you put the 0 right there and the 1 goes there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and that's my y. and then I can just start to plot them. So my first one is 1, 1, which is right there. My next one is 8, 1. So 8, 1 again would go right there. And then I have an 8, 5. So 8, 5 would go right there. And then my last one is a 1, 5, which goes right there. Okay, so if I was to connect the dots or the coordinate points, to use my mathematical academic language, that is what I get, which that is a rectangle. And I know because it has two sets of parallel sides. This is parallel to that, and this is parallel to that, but it also has 4 right angles. And it had 4 of the vertices, which were my coordinate points. Okay, so we're going to try some of these together. So please turn your page to page 100. Okay, so our first one is graph and label our ordered pairs on the coordinate plane, connect the points, and identify the geometric shape and give its number of vertices. So they've already filled in our coordinate plane for us and labeled our axes, so we can just get started. So my first xy is 2, 1, so my x is 2 and my y is 1. Okay, my second xy is 6, 1, which would be right here. My next xy is 7, 4, which would be 7, 4 would be right here. Okay, my next one is 4, 7, which would be 4, 7 would be right here. And my final one is 1, 4. So here's a 1 and here's a 4, which would be right there. Okay, so let's connect the dots there and see what we've got. Okay, so what I notice here is I don't have a quadrilateral, which most of our shapes have been quadrilaterals. And a quadrilateral would have 4 vertices and 4 sides. So this shape has 5 vertices and 5 sides, which means it's not a quadrilateral. And a 5-sided shape would be called a pentagon. So this shape is called a pentagon, okay? And we just said it had 5 vertices. So we're going to say 5 vertices, and it is a pentagon. Okay, let's look at our next one. And this time, just like I had, they didn't label it. So let's double check and make sure we can use a scale of 1. My x's are 2, 8, 6, and 4, which means that'll work. So 0 goes right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and that's my x-axis. And my y's are 2, 2, 4, and 4, so I can also count by ones. So your 0, 0's go right there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we can start to plot. So my first one is 2, 2, which is right there. My next one is 8, 2, which would go right there. Then I have a 6, 4, which would go right here. And then I have a 4, 4, which would go right there. Okay, so when we connect those, what I see is a 4-sided shape. So I know it's a quadrilateral, but more important, what I see is it only has 1 pair of parallel lines. So that is called a trapezoid. So it's a trapezoid and it has 4 vertices. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so today you are doing 2 pages on your own. So you have, I'm sorry, 3 pages. So if you can turn, you're going to be doing page 101 and then 102 and 103. Have a nice afternoon. Bye-bye.